everyone, today I wanted to walk through the paired single crochet stitch. I really like this stitch because it gives this really neat texture to the piece that you're working on, and it also lays pretty flat. I'm planning on using this stitch to make some washcloths. I think that's going to be really cool. But yeah, so to begin, I'm going to show you two different pieces. So this one, I'm going to show you how to understand the stitch, and then in another one, I'm going to show you like starting the stitch from a chain stitch. So this stitch looks more complicated than it is, but it works up really quickly once you get the basics. So as you can see, I have already worked one stitch into this opening. So what you're going to do is you're going to stick your crochet hook in that opening, yarn over, pull through so that you have 2 loops on your hook. Then you're going to go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through another loop so that you have 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. Then to begin your next stitch, you're going to go back into that last stitch you just worked in. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through so you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. And that is the paired single stitch. So go into that same stitch you just worked in, yarn over, pull through so you have 2 loops, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3. So you will complete this same pattern all the way down your piece, and then as you can see, it works up really quickly once you get the hang of it. And then I'm going to show you how to make your next row, because it's going to be a little bit different than at least what I have shown on this page before. So now that you've completed your row, you're going to chain, but you're gonna wanna leave a decent little gap right here. You're not gonna wanna chain it super tight because you're going to start your next row into that opening. So go ahead and make your chain, flip your work. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, and I make my loop a little bit bigger so that I can turn my hook easily, and slip under that chain stitch that you just made. So it's going to look a little funny. So you got your loop, pivot your hook, go into that opening, and then I pull my loop a little tighter. But you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3. And so then you start that same pattern that you were doing before. So go into that stitch you just worked in, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, you got 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. And so you would finish that all the way to the end of the row, chain another loose stitch, work back into that chain, and go across. So what I want to show now is how to start the piece from scratch. So now that you understand the basic mechanics of the stitch, I want to show you how to do it from scratch. Slide that off here and grab some new yarn. So for this example, I'm just going to create, my slip knot. Oops. Create my slip knot, and then I'm going to chain. So I'm going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, and it doesn't matter how many chains you make. I just like the width of this. So when you've completed your foundation, you're going to chain 1 additional. And then you're going to skip that chain you just created and go into the second stitch, yarn over, pull through, so you have 2 loops, go into the third stitch, yarn over, pull through. So there's your 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So the reason I didn't want to start on just this small piece to begin with is that you'll see as I go down the row doing the same thing, it starts to curl pretty badly and you start losing the ability to see really well. So I wanted to do the mechanics on a bigger piece. But when you go to start the next row, you're going to realize you've lost a stitch, and that is completely normal. So you started out with 7 stitches, and then you chained 1, making it 8. So you've got 1, 2, 3 so far. Go into that stitch you just worked on, go into the next one. There's your next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. There's 5. Yarn over, pull through. So you can see it's starting to curve. That would have been hard to show anybody anything. And there is 6. So that is perfectly normal. But what you have to do at that point is maintain 6 stitches all the way through the work. So your chain or your foundation row is always going to be 1 stitch longer than your actual, well, technically 2 stitches longer than your actual piece. So when you get to the end of your row, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to chain that loose chain stitch, flip your work in to that opening behind the chain stitch, which is easier said than done sometimes. There we go. Yarn over, pull through. So you have 2 loops on your hook, go into your next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. There's 1, go into that stitch you just worked on, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. There is 2. Yarn over, or go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, next stitch, yarn over, pull through. There's 3. Go into that same stitch, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, and go through all 3. There's 4. Into that same stitch, yarn over, next stitch, yarn over, pull through, go through all 3. There's 5. And then your last stitch, you're going to go into that same stitch you just worked in, yarn over, and then grabbing your last stitch here on the end, yarn over, pull through, and there is 6. Right. And that is how you work through a paired chain. So I really love the way this stitch works up because you just get that really neat pattern. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Let me know if you have any questions and let me know what stitch you'd like to learn next.